CCI is a 5-year-old firm headquartered in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We are an SAP solution firm specializing in SAP software and training solutions for our clients. What makes CCI so special is our staff. We bring in the best and brightest minds for everything we do. We are a revolutionary in our training, education, and solution implementation because we take responsibility. What a revolutionary idea, responsibility. We are proud to be one of the Future 50. Thank you.
And now with our Mark Belling boxing update. So far, we still haven't heard from Mark Belling, but the dollars are pouring in. I am looking to box Mark Belling in a 3-round boxing match for charity. His charity, any charity he chooses. The dollar amounts are fastly rolling in. People want to see this boxing match. If you would like to see this boxing match, or if you would like to be involved in it in any capacity, please send me an email at troy@focusondiversity.com. That's troy@focusondiversity.com. Eventually, Mark, you're going to have to respond. Let's continue on with the discussion here today. Last week, State Farm Insurance Company's Mississippi's largest homeowner insurer announced that it had enough of the untenable legal and political climates in the state and is now suspending writing new homeowners and commercial policies. The suspension started last week and will continue until the business climate in the state is more palatable. Now that sounds like a big time carve-out. Now, Robert, I know how you feel about the big corporations, but you may have a point. What do you think?
Well, I mean, when I talk about big corporations, I talk about those corporate citizens who do not perform or do not provide the services that they promised to provide. Mm-hmm. People have paid into these services. People have given them their hard-earned cash and have looked to receive what was promised for that cash.
What about the thousands of people that they've already helped?
And that's, again, corporate greed, corporate exploitation, indifference to those populations. State Farm ought to be ashamed of itself for pulling this stunt. It just shows you that there are some corporations out there who just don't really care about American consumers.
A company is in business to make money, Chris. That's what you're doing business for. Now, is State Farm wrong for leaving a state that seems like it's somewhat corrupt and they're losing money?
Every company is in business to make money, yes. Yet you also need to be a good corporate citizen. And you need to balance those between the two, just as we do, just as other businesses do. State Farm has got some issues in regards to the state level of Mississippi. It's not necessarily the people, it's not necessarily the current contracts that they have in regards to Katrinas and the different hurricanes. There are issues going on there that are so political and so backhaulish that it's incredible out there. I just read an article in regards to it in the Wall Street Journal, the reason why they were pulling it out. And it's because of the politics that are in that state. Mm-hmm. They are there to help, and yes, they want to help, yet they're being forced and they're being hand-tied in certain aspects of it. And I'm not going to get into the whole story because there's so many issues there, but they are being hand-tied by the political structure that is in place in Mississippi right now.
And Kia, if I'm a company or business or any type of level there, and if I can't get along with the political climate, why should I stay? Why should I stay in a political climate where I'm doing business, but yet the policies and the politics are not working for my business?
I think Mr. Miranda pretty much summarized it right there. You need to be a corporate and global citizen and be there for the citizens of that state. You have the issue with the state, not the citizens of that state, not the people that you are helping and the people that you're making money from.
I'm losing money based on these political-oriented policies.
Well, that's the risk you take as a business. That's part of doing
come
business.
on, Robert.
There is a risk factor, and the risk factor is part of what the entrepreneurial spirit is all about. That's what capitalism in this country is about.
So lose money. Just lose money.
Hey, no. It's about taking risk. Mm. If you're going to go into business, you understand that there are risks to take. They knew that in those policies, eventually there was going to be natural disasters. Right. They took that risk.
They're not leaving because of Katrina.
No, but they're not providing any more policies.
Any new ones.
And exactly, any new ones. Now, what's to say that there will be another hurricane coming in the next month? What are those people who can't get new policies going to do?
Well, I would say I'm going to give you the last word on this, Kia. What do you think that should happen from this?
I think it's a shame that they're leaving. I think that they need to stay. They are granted, yes, they are keeping those existing policies, but how secure is that? You're leaving after all.
Interesting, very interesting. Let's go on to our next topic here. Agro-terrorism. Over 300 people were sick from the current salmonella outbreak that was traced to a peanut butter processor in Georgia. 200 others were sickened and 3 people had died by the time scientists were able to trace the fall's E.coli contamination to a California spinach ranch. Now, what's being said here, Robert, is that there's a quick possibility that this was possibly done on purpose. What is your thoughts? And as for agro-terrorism?
Well, considering that this country has a history of performing terrorism against Native Americans when they poison their foods, we have now this paranoia out there again, where now we have, and there's some legitimacy. I am not going to say that we need not secure our foods, but let's be for real, folks. If there is a problem in our food system, it is because the government of the United States does not have enough health inspectors to look at the system itself. Rather than throw all the billions of dollars in an illegal war, we should have been investing in the infrastructure of our country, in the domestic food chain, to ensure that the food is secure.
Well, Chris, it's all our fault. What can you...
Well, who creates a spinach farm next to a horse and cow waste manure facility? My God, all that fecal matter is going into the spinach. No wonder people were getting sick. And there were not enough inspectors to go see that. And now with the peanut butter plant, same type of an aspect. They had not been inspected in about 3 years, I believe it was. So you look at that thing, and Robert, we're gonna agree that we shouldn't be in the war, but yet they should be taking that money and putting it into this and other programs that are out there. Yes, there is a chance for the agro-terrorism. It's a very open area. It's kind of like we talked about in regards to the postal system a couple of weeks ago. It's the same nature in the U.S. We think, we're the United States, we're fine. Well, look what happened with the crash this week in the stock market. We're not fine. We've got a lot of issues we got to deal with.
Well, I think, Kia, for the most part, what we're taking a look here is this kind of thing could quite possibly happen in the real sense in America. I don't think that this was possibly agro-terrorism, but it can happen in the real sense. What are your thoughts?
Anything can happen in the real sense, for that matter. I mean, you can get terrorism in anything, if you really think about it. So really, what's the real issue here?
Well, I think agro-terrorism in this particular case is being seen as, well, this could be real here. And being real in regards to our spinach being contaminated, it just shows that we have holes in our national security that we may need to fill up. And when we come back, we'll keep the heat, stay with Focus on Diversity. We'll be right back. Founded in 1905, Badger Meter recently celebrated over 100 years in business. Throughout its history, Badger Meter has been and continues to be a proud employer of a diverse workforce. Badger Meter also supports diversity news and analysis through its sponsorship of the Focus on Diversity program with yours truly, Troy Shaw.